It is time to expand minds through movies, TV, sports, and flicks. It is time to boldly go where no podcast has gone before. It is time for the Captain Talks Flicks.
The Captain Talk Flicks.
Welcome to the Captain Talks Flicks podcast. I'm your host, Captain Cortez, aka Mr. Love, and this is where we talk flicks. And ladies and gentlemen, this past week, I went back to the future, but I also went to the past. I went to the days of future past. So I'm going to talk about how I went to the days of future past. But first, a couple things. I want to give a big shout out to Ann Arbor, Michigan. Got some plays in Ann Arbor, Michigan this past week. Gracias, gratitude, toda. And Ann Arbor, Michigan. Because I live in the state of Michigan, and because I am a Spartan, I know all about you guys. The Michigan Wolverines, home of the big house, the University of Michigan. Yeah, one of the best colleges in the United States of America and in the globe. And also recently, you kind of bought some of our hospitals in the area. And I did hear that you have a phenomenal pinball pizza as well. And I'm going to go there one of these days. In fact, I'm going to go to your community, have some food, go to Pinball Pizza, chill out and hang in your wonderful, wonderful city. A friend of mine's kids went to school there. Yeah, I hear it's a very, very great place. So thanks for listening. We appreciate it. And additionally, this episode is brought to you by the song called Dirty Soda by Che Casanova and Sun Tzu Cosmic. We here at the EIF family love these dirty sodas. They're phenomenal. We're buying them at the stores. We're making our own now. In fact, yesterday I made my own dirty soda and I named it the Dirty Captain. And it consists of black cherry, Verner's, cold foam, and vanilla syrup. I made it yesterday. Phenomenally good. And Renee LA, she made one. Hers was bubblegum soda, vanilla syrup, and cold cream. Good as well. So ladies and gentlemen, we're in the Dirty Sodas and they made us all about it. So if you want to hear the song, please below, check it out. Now, let's get to the podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, this past week, I went to the days of future past. And when I say this, you may not talk about it. I'm talking about the movie X-Men Days of Future Past. And it may be my favorite X-Men movie of all time. And it's probably my top 5, top 10 time travel movies of all time. Now first, a little bit of backstory before I get into Days of Future Past. I've done this podcast since 2014. That's going to be, I think, 12 years, I believe. So I've been doing this for 12 years. But anyways, I've never done an episode about X-Men. I'm positive. I looked it up. I think I did about Logan, but other than that, I didn't do anything about X-Men other than that. And let me just say this before I get into Days of Future Past. The X-Men franchise is by far, now and in the past, been my favorite superhero franchise of all time. Back in 1999, I've told the story before on the Logan podcast, I believe. But in 99, I went to the theater with my homeboys and saw at my local theater the X-Men in their black suits. Right, Charles Xavier, played by Jean-Luc Picard, Patrick Stewart. Right, Halle Berry's up in there. Right, a lot of cool, dope actors. We saw the X-Men on the screen for the first time at the theater, released by Fox. I had the DVD with the special cardboard box. It's all silver. I think they still have it somewhere. Like, it's just huge. I remember being my buddy, Gotcha Man. You may be aware of him. We rap together occasionally. I've known for like 20 years. We were talking about when it first came out. Like, oh my gosh, they didn't use the suits from the cartoon or from the comic books. How dare they? And they were dressed in all black, right? Now, when it first came out, we were kind of like, oh, bro, what's going on? You know, Wolverine got his blue and yellow suit, a blue and blouse suit, and Cyclops got his blue suit, all these things, right? But actually, I said, you know what? These black suits aren't that bad, and I began to like them. And I think the black suits are phenomenal. Now, it's interesting, in the last few years, they've kind of went back to their regular comic book suits, but honestly, I liked all black. But anyways, saw X-Men 1 at the theater. I think X-Men 2 at the theater. And the X-Men 2, that opening scene of the White House with Nightcrawler going through it with the classical music in the back, it is one of the best openings of a movie of all time, in my opinion. And I've talked about this before as well. The opening, like I said, with Nightcrawler through it is phenomenally dope. And X-Men 3, you know, The Last Stand, you know, the Dark Phoenix kind of saga, right? Wolverine getting jacked up, and it was just, I saw it at the theater. I think that came out in 2006. I think it actually came out on 6/6 6. I'm not even joking. I look it up. I believe this is true. It's kind of messed up. I saw it at the theater as well. Yeah, so that, and then there was the Origins, Wolverine Origins. There was a bunch of other standalone Wolverines. I almost want a DVD Blu-ray. But anyways, I've seen virtually every X-Men movie with the exception of the Dark Phoenix and maybe the New Mutants. Other than that, I've seen everyone. Seen the cartoon from back in the day, not the new one. I have to watch that because I just got Disney Plus. Love the X-Men since way back. They were always the coolest superheroes to me. No respect to anybody else. But it's just love X-Men. Anyways, now today's Future Past. So in this movie, there is a threat so big, so catastrophic that these Sentinels, these robots, these AI, whatever they are finally on the verge of extinguishing, to getting rid of the X-Men, the mutants. I think everybody's just gonna be gone from these horrible Sentinels, right? So in order to correct this, like any good time travel movie, you have to send somebody back in time, like in Back to the Future, like in Time Cop, or like in Star Trek. It doesn't matter if there's a problem, you can't solve it now, send somebody backwards to fix it. Yeah, when things get so bad that you gotta send someone back in time, things are really jacked up. I'll be honest, I think in 2026, we might need to send somebody back, because things are kind of jacked up. But anyways, this is what's happened. And they chose Logan. Wolverine, because he's the only guy that can handle it. So he goes back in time, meets with younger Charles Xavier, younger Magneto, younger everybody else, and they go ahead and try to fix the timeline so the bad future doesn't happen like every other time travel movie you've seen. Yeah, and this is basically the plot. And it's a phenomenally well done movie. I haven't seen it so long, I forgot how good it was. I love these characters. I love the X. It's so great. I just forgot about it. And I just was watching recently because let's watch this. But what I do, I always do get some key things I know some movies I thought were interesting. And the first thing I want to get into is the time travel mechanism. Now, a lot of other time travel movies will have some kind of device or some kind of a machine that will take the actual individual back in time, right? They'll take the body and take it back in time. Now, in this particular time travel story, basically what happens is Kitty Pryde, one of the X-Men, use her powers to somehow transport Wolverine into his younger self. So for example, I am the Captain in 2026. My mind is in my brain. But what happens is I take my mind now and we take it to my younger body. So my mind now will go to my younger body. So my mind now would exist in my younger body. It is absolutely mind-blowing concept. And I had forgot that was in there. It is very interesting. I will say this as well. In a lot of talk about metaphysics, if you're going down that rabbit hole, people kind of say that you kind of, sort of can do this in some weird way. Obviously, I like on the show, but it is kind of dumb. They say that right now, in my time, what I'm doing right now affects the future and the past all at the same time. Now, if you watch this movie and a lot of other time travel movies, right now as I exist in 26, the past is happening right now, and so is the future. I say everything is going on all at once, and everything affects each other. So my younger self is like me now, my older self is like me now, and then vice versa, all to 70. I know it sounds absolutely crazy, but if you do the math, I guess it works out according to scientists. Yeah, so this is what's going on. Wolverine goes back in time, and he's back there, and he tries to save the day. But I will say about time travel in general, it's basically going back and undoing a choice, right? Because as we navigate forward in a timeline, like now forward, the future is shaped by the choices we make, right? So if I choose this, it's going to dictate which way my timeline goes, right? So if you go back in time, you're basically going to fix a choice that someone made that did not work out well. And a lot of people say they like to do this, but the only thing about that is if you choose different, a lot of other things that sprung from that will change the shift as well. So you have to be very careful of how you choose to, do that if this is a real thing. Because they can go back, they can change what they did in the movie, but a lot of other things on top of that could shift that were things you might have liked. And it's called, I think, the butterfly effect, if I remember correctly. So it's a very interesting concept. I think it's the only X-Men movie to do time travel, and they do it really well. And as I've told you in this podcast before, I love time travel movies so much. It's a great one. To switch gears, also it's good to see the old cast back on the screen again. I love them as a young person. I was like 20 some years old when the original movie came out. And I've said this on past podcasts, the character of Logan, Wolverine, it has always been there, that character. Like, so in your life as a human being, a lot of times there'll be characters on the screen or movies or TV shows or whatever that have been with you along the journey, right? You're a young person, you get old, you go through life, you grow, you have kids, you get married, you have different jobs or blah, 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 whatever happens. But this character's kind of been with you through the whole time. Now, I know it's just a TV character and it's a movie character, whatever, and it's not a big deal. But it kind of is in a weird way. because they've always been by, you always have that comfort of that character like that goes with you in the journey. You know, and as you grow and change, it's like you see them differently. And now that we live actually in the age of AI, where AI is real, I was talking to earlier today, like the reality or the possibilities they paint in these films is just a little bit more closer to becoming true than it was in the past. You know, when I was 20 years old, these things did not exist like this. You couldn't talk to some kind of phone like on Star Trek. It was just not happening. But in the shows you watch as a young person, when I was a young person, these movies, see, like these things were happening. But we're in the future now, these things are actually real. It's just a little bit closer. So like I said, the last podcast about AI, is it possible that it, runs crazy and does weird and crazy things and tries to, subjugate humanity? Yeah, that's a possibility. But who knows? And now I'm gonna move on to something else. So what I do is circle back and talk about the origins of X-Men. Now I remember when the comic book first came out, it was kind of based on the civil rights movement. And if I remember this correctly, I think Charles Xavier and Magneto are kind of roughly based on Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. I believe this is true. So they have fundamental different philosophies how to approach their issues and the things they're dealing with. Because basically humanity is trying to oppress these people. And because they feel there are threats, like they said in all the movies. Because mutants, most of them, are super more powerful than human beings. And a lot of times when there's more powerful beings than the beings are there, they usually subjugate them. You can look at world history, see it all the time. If you look at the history of the globe, generally the more powerful group of people or whatever will subjugate the lessers. So the humans of power see these X-Men rising up with powers, and oh my gosh, we're very concerned now. Because these guys will take over. Yeah, it's possible they could. I mean, you see how powerful they are, but it's also possible they won't. So this is what the whole franchise is based on. It's just basically how they're going to try to eliminate, subjugate, use these beings that have evolved beyond the status quo humans, right? And because basically a mutant, at least my eyes, is just an evolved human that took on more attributes to better deal with the physical world. So if you look at Darwin's evolution thing, I mean, I think the whole thing is based on that beings or animals or people adapt to the world reality, so different attributes or skills are added to beings or to navigate that better. And the mutant is basically this concept on steroids. You know what I mean? And these are people that have adapted significantly different to the way humans were before, maybe to enhance them. I don't even know. But they are super powerful. And so this is kind of the battle through all the movies, right? And in this movie, like I said from the beginning, is basically the mutants are oppressed, they're being hunted down, they're almost addiction, and they're going back to prevent them. Yeah, it's crazy. Now, one last thing I want to get to also is that, this show, this movie, this comic book, these movies, this idea, these franchise, whatever, these characters are shown as fiction. And they're fiction. But generally, I believe humans probably on some level are already doing this. I'm sure there's humans that walk amongst us that just have a little more enhanced ability in some area than others based on evolution. So if evolution happens, it's happening right now. How could it not happen now? So if it's happened for like whatever amount of years it's been happening, going back to whenever that this concept, this idea has been happening, they just stop evolving now. Like all of a sudden humans stop evolving, animals stop evolving, right? All of a sudden they're done. Then please, we're probably walking amongst humans that are in evolutionary stages on the way to become a different breed of human based on the environment we're currently in. It just doesn't stop because we're living it. With history, like, Neanderthal evolved to blah, blah, blah because this happened. Well, it happens all the time, right? I'm sure there's little attributes over time that humans and animals take on. We just really don't really pay attention or want to admit it. I don't know. But anyways, I could go on and on about X-Men. It's a great comic book. It's great social commentary. It's fun to watch. It's entertaining. Characters are always well written. It was just so good to see these characters I didn't see for so long. I highly recommend it. It should be interesting to see what Marvel does when they reboot X-Men. I heard that's happening. Can't wait to see what goes on with that. So anyways, if you have not seen X-Men Days of Future Past or any X-Men movie or the cartoon or whatever, or even read the comics, go check them out. I think they're phenomenally well done and well written, good acting, good stories. I've liked them since way back day. Me and the neighbor kids, my cousins, brother, we all love these characters. Who did not? You had the shirts, t-shirts, sheets maybe. I don't even know. Play the games, video games. They had some really dope video games in the arcade, by the way. So anyways, this concludes the podcast. Thanks for listening. And until next time, we'll see you. Look at all the sentences which seem true and question them. David Reisman. Till next time, it's Captain Beast.
The Captain Talks.